Right now, BDD is going to be struggling. There's the stun. The charm's going to land beautifully, and Zeka picks up first blood.
Coming up after catching that wave, now rotating over, but the prio 100% to DRX. They have full control over this choke. Dread, nice flank angle though, but will Azir be able to ult here is the real question, and he's got a wave to catch.
Yeah, BDD is actually just going to stay in that lane, kind of with full rage, but it looks like Dread might have to just go for an attempted 50-50 or something like that, but not going to work. Pulverize is there. The stun comes down as well as the horse is trying to get out. Deft just rains the Acathian stuff on him, and is going to be able to pick up the second kill here for DRX.
Lane in every way.
Well, now we're going to go for a bit of a dive here as the Gwen. Let's see how immune she's going to be. Not very is going to be kind of the answer as Canna tanks for a very long time, but does eventually get his way out. But Pyosik with the Heartbreaker is going to be able to come through, grab that kill. Now Canna without an ult. Pyosik is a horse and is pretty scary. Is going to ult over the wall and gets the stun. Can he actually lock down the kill though is the question as, yeah, Red Smite not quite enough. But Zeka, yeah, he's got Spirit Rush. There is no way out here for Canna, who's trying to do some alcove gaming, but there is a ward that they prepared earlier, as Canna is just dead. Yep, Zeka is trying to, you know, just account for any sort of potential juke, and they tidy up 2-for-1 in the end. See whether anything else can come of this one, as now Kingen just snipping Canna. Oh, man. Snip really starting to hurt here, as Canna's going to move his way out. And Kingen having just the best time on this Gwen, going towards his Nash's Tooth as item number 2. And Dread's going to come on over. They did manage to do this last time around, as already the Needlework's coming out. Canna has to ult pretty quickly here as he gets underneath the turret, but it's not going to be enough. Effort is going to go golden, but I have a feeling he might still be dead. Yep. Pyosik, oh no, burning down. There we go. Pyosik picks up the kill. In the end, it's a 1-for-1 cross map, as the tower does also fall down. So Nongshim actually trading up here.
Yeah, Nongshim trading up, but will Ghost survive is the question. Barrel's here.
Yeah, well, he's got Featherstorm first, then he flashes, Beryl ults, but he's still taking a lot of damage. Good heal comes out from Deft, and no one's tanking the turret anymore. BDD comes on over, though, as now Pyosik trying to fight it off, but he's not going to quite get there. Great movement from BDD. Gets himself out of the way of the stun, and they are going to be able to lock down Pyosik.
Yeah, with Conqueror proccing there, I respect his flash. Don't know if it was 100% necessary, but better safe than sorry in a moment like this. If you end up trading 1-for-1 here, you're like, oh, how many times is this going to happen? Well, they have a lot of deep vision around the bottom side of the map. Still 2 minutes to go before that Drake comes up. As we're going to go back to the second dive onto King, and that's successful. And as soon as the show happens, on the bottom side, they're committing, right? And they do end up trading this 1-for-1, as I'm sure that's going to be the second part of this replay. Pyosik here in position, efforts coming down to try to protect BDD, but they didn't know where Pyosik was. And unfortunately just pathing in the wrong angle here, because they didn't know exactly where Pyosik was. They knew he was probably in the vicinity, because he definitely wasn't helping out top side.
And Emperor's Divide was a little bit odd, but this Featherstorm is exactly what you needed to do.
Yeah, so well done. The follow-up CC there. And they're able to chase with a really nice shuffle from BDD.
Not sure about whether the flash was all that necessary. They do manage to take the Drake barrel, taken down first, but it's effort that falls at the same time. The snips aren't necessarily going to work out, but it's a double kill for Deft. He's at 100 health as Zeka's flashing away. He is going to survive for the moment. Decent charm is there. And that stopwatch, I don't know whether that was necessary, as he was real dead. Killer Instinct comes in as Dread is now going to fall. Theoretically a triple kill now for Deft in this fight. As now Pyosik is cantering after BDD. Horse versus Pigeon doesn't seem like it's all that close, but still, BDD is going to be...
Or DRX. The problem is they take a ton of damage on their way to take the Drake. So these health bars are extremely low. Kana is winning out in this side battle against Kingen pretty significantly, and Dread turns on him. But Deft is the real story here, because he gets extremely low, but doesn't die. Zeka, also same story for him, is able to hit this charm over the wall. Nice stopwatch here. And Deft just keeps the longevity of this team fight alive, and will eventually close out Dread. Most important part of
moving into the river is now Pulverize is going to come in. Effort is going to have to go golden. Does so immediately. Ghost has to flash, get himself out of the way. Deft trying to be the hero in the backline, and he avoids the ult from BDD by just pressing the best button in the game. That is, of course, the stopwatch. Tryndamere gets one, so Deft will get shut down. But at what cost? They will lose the soul, and it might be even more.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be more, I think.
Away from Exodia here for DRX. If we have a look at this fight one more time, Zeka has been so good this game.
So they're on top of effort, and he gets charmed, and then Beryl is not...
Stopwatch, Deft.
Barrel is knocking everybody else off, and then Deft just decides, okay, I'm ulting and I have stopwatch, I'm completely safe.
Pretty heavy. As that's the flash forward depth charge. Yeah, it's not really what we wanted to see there, Effort, unfortunately. As Pulverize, I don't think is off cooldown just yet. Effort's going to die. Deft zoned out of this fight for a little while, and in fact, Effort has his Zhonya's back up and available yet again. So slight overextension here for DRX as Kingan's not able to punish anyone. Some low health bars, but no one to actually lock them down.
Right now, you know, the big issue here for DRX was that they don't have a lot of range damage to actually follow up on engage, and the main source of damage for them long-term in these fights and the pick potential is on this Ahri, who notice at the beginning of this fight is actually charming a Tryndamere, which is important because if Tryndamere is on top of DRX here, they can actually get locked in and more people than 2 die. But because he's actually trading with Canna while he ults, he isn't actually doing any big orb damage in this fight or getting any sort of Everfrost value. And Kingan was so hopeful. He's like, oh man, I'm actually Gwen, and everyone's in a choke point, and everyone's at half health, but it's just not enough at this stage for him to actually commit in further. Does now have his Zhonya's completed. I think a little bit disjointed there for DRX.
Yeah, having a look at what Beryl actually did there, because I was sort of like ready for DRX to find a dive that worked, but he headbutted a Zhonya's at the ready Nautilus out towards Deft, and then he had Zhonya's dredge line, the CC onto the cow. Like, yeah, it was an odd maneuver. So let's see whether that is going to be something that allows Nongshim to find their way back into the game. I have a feeling that it's not going to be the case, but definitely a bit of a whoopsie there.
Yeah, and both inhibitors live and both inhibitor turrets live, so it does buy a lot of time here for Nongshim. And in terms of time, obviously the Azir is going to become a bigger and bigger problem if we do go into this game for another 10 minutes or so. If DRX start losing control of these Drakes, for example, and, you know, Nongshim has Prio and can start to slowly do that damage, that's going to be an issue. Plus Tryndamere later on. He's already, you know, quite built with his items, but if he gets a few more, then he can also start to threaten, you know, inhibitors himself in the side lane.
Oh yeah.
It's not over until the fat lady sings, as we like to say here at the LCK, but you know, Nongshim still need a few more things to go their way.
Yeah,
that was one step.
She's warming her voice up. She's definitely, you know, had her ginger tea and stuff like that. She is well and truly feeling it, but when in doubt, just set up a gank rush. As Beryl just walks forward. They do manage to find the stun. Effort's got so much value out of this Zhonya's, it's ridiculous. He's still going to die, but certainly a cool move as in goes Beryl, finds the 3-man pole. That's what we were waiting for. The master of the cow, but Canna is there, not actually able to press his ult button in time, unfortunately, is now can Zeka tidy this one up? Deft just stands his ground. He manages to get into his GA as well as PDD. He's going to go gold and observe what the world looks like just before he moves towards the death chamber and the gray screen. And DRX, I have a feeling, may have just done it.
That was just a bank account fight, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't the cleanest engage for DRX, but it was 8 champions all on top of the same pixel, and then eventually Deft was like, okay, well, I did a lot of damage, and my GA popped, and we win because we have way more items than you. As it was well played by Effort, but it's not enough in the end. He will be the last to die, it looks like, this game.
Not sure what that was about, but still, this game was well and truly over. DRX are able to take down the Nexus and win game number 1.
페린 이제 집 뺄만해? 더 볼게 페린 이제 집이야 뻥 대고 빼면서 보든지 내 위치 좋은데 잡았어 야 내 위치 좋아 자야 노공 나 가인이야 얘 노플 아지로 노플 미드로 가면 끝날만한가? 미드 나이스 미드 끝낼만한데 미드 가자 끝나 여기 바텀은 웨이브 없어 펜타 먹은 사람? 아 상관없어 펜타 먹은 사람? 아니 형 LCK 어떻게 펜타를 한 번도 못 해보냐고. 나 10년 동안 먹어본 적이 없어. 펜타 먹은 사람 안 먹어. 정글로도 해봤는데 도전이 쳐야 될 듯 타워? 응. 야 이거 잡아? 아 들어왔는데 왜 펜타 킴 이거? 아 이거 펜타였는데? 펜타였네? 아니 그래요? 아 이거 말했으면 양보했다 근데 나 이제 펜타일지도 몰랐어. 이래서 내가 못 먹었다니까.
Be a bit of a problem here as Dread's going to get a bit of a pushback. The Ghost is already used as Kingan's now just doing his best to buy as much time as possible.
Experience. Yeah. So it's not all for free here for Nongshim. There's a bit of a cost here on the bottom side.
Yeah, that is the handshake that's going to connect, though, as now Ghost taking a lot of damage. Yeah, okay, good stun lands onto Deft. He's going to have to flash to get out of the way of that one, and now they're in a tricky situation. There are minions on this turret, so Beryl can just walk all the way straight back. There's now Deft looking to try and move into this one, but there's a horse. And don't worry about it too much there at all. Pioshik off to the side, misses that Q. Still has Safeguard available, is now Deft and Ghost fighting this one out. It's a lot of burst damage, but it is traded back immediately. The final hour is on, and that was so close. Flashes come through, the flash from Deft will pick it up in the end. I love the jostling for position between the two AD carries. Yeah, exactly right, as we've got immediately another fight. The headbutt into the wall there from Dread. He didn't want to do that. Beryl just said that he had to, as now underneath the turret, Pioshik looks for more, as now Dread 1 versus 3, but you cannot do anything there, and DRX find the outplay in the bottom lane.
The ease of execution for DRX is not there, right? Whereas for Nongshim, with the position they have, it's pretty nice. So Zeka.
Yeah, he's going to have to use a Spirit Rush to try and get out of here, but Dread runs real quick. There's one more charge left available. The flash is going to be there as well, as there's the kickback. Zeka not even going to use his flash, because the Primordial Burst got in range. I think he this wave as best he can. Nongshim now going to have to do some face checking, as Zeka has found the Jhin. And that is going to secure it. It's in fact Pioshik that locks down that kill, and if you're walking into darkness, don't face check with your AD carry.
Yeah, that was not the play. That was definitely not the play. Now DRX have such fast Baron clears, you mentioned, and they can zone away the rest of Nongshim. So much damage here, and the real big range advantage is in the Jhin only. So Nongshim, yeah, they will be able to force this turret down, it looks like here, but DRX do not care, like, at all. I'll take
out of turret for Baron. Yeah. Not necessarily the trade you want to go for, but Nongshim, 4 versus 5, we're just never going to be able to get in there, right?
Yeah, they can get the Scuttle, but they will not be able to get the Drake either, as Ghost is respawning now and has a long walk ahead of him.
Yeah, we're looking for a possible pick-off opportunity here. They grab the Drake, they grab the Baron, and their control of this river was just beautifully done. Zeka, once again, I mean, his Ahri's
there. Yeah, there's a ward there.
The spin as Pioshik is going to find him. There's the kickback as does manage to bonk him into the wall. That is attempting to go for it here as he goes berserk for a moment, and Beryl is going to be able to lock down the kill in the end. Use of the ulti working out there for DRX, but Nongshim now back onto the map. You can see all of that vision that they had going to be largely removed, as Canna still dead for another 35 seconds. He is going to be back up by the time the Baron gets there.
No summoners, though, will not have the ability to teleport in if DRX are on the Baron as it spawns. They're backing right now, so it is going to be a bit of a neutral fight there. This is so well handled by DRX. Like, Kana realizes as soon as he sees the teleport, like, oh no, like, they're coming for me. They're all in mid. They can collapse onto me. Now, he's hoping he can trade it back, but, you know, unfortunately blowing is someone on that turret and then rush over faster than this. Or just ignore the Baron. Like, you got to be decisive. You're doing half measures here.
Yeah, do one of the things. Is now Zeka still off towards the side here. As now Dread, he's running really quickly. Wants to go for that 50-50 if he can. But the ulti's going to come through. It zones them away beautifully. As now, the bailout going to be used, but it's onto himself here as the Baron is just going to be given up on. Both of the supports are now taken down, and the event horizon is on cooldown. DRX move back towards this Baron as Dread still has his ulti up, and the kickback onto BDD. Event Horizon goes through again, but immediately the flashes come on forward. Death flashes over the wall as well, as now they're looking to tidy up the team fight. It's the Viger, he is dead, and Ghost is now running for the hills. Kingan is so scary. The Q comes in from Pioshik. That will be the ace, and DRX can do anything they want after a team fight like that.
Yeah, they certainly can. Pioshik having a great game on the Lee Sin, very quietly, you know, making it through these mid-game fights, setting up so many of the peels that are necessary for his teammates. And yes, Beryl did die. He used his bailout on himself, wasn't able to, of course, resurrect, but the turn was so good for DRX and their advantage was massive.
Once again, another one of these situations where it's effort just by himself, having to try and save a dying Nexus. It happens one more time, and Vayne will cut through this Nexus so quickly. 2-0.
Right, like BDD got sent to this team because of Chovy, right? Like he's over here. You've got Ghost, who was replaced by Nongshim's AD carries, right? So he's like filling the shoes of Dugdom and Kellen, who are doing better than him. There's a lot of stress and pressure on these players, and they're not able to keep up.
Yeah.
Let's end it. Pioshik is very excited.
1초? 업데이트 20초.
20 seconds, calling out death timers here.
Bali.
Bali. That's what Gwen said. She's like, all right, let's get out of here as quickly
If you guys didn't know what that meant in Korean, just means like go quickly.
Yeah, quickly, basically.
뭐야 대잡인데 이거? 펜타 뺏었다. 펜타 뺏었다. 와 이거 뭐야?
She's having a great
time.
와 이거 초판 아니야?
Oh no, I want to know what Def just said.
I just want to
He stole a
like,
penta?
yeah, well no, he lost the chance to get a penta, like it timed out, I believe.
Yeah. Def never got a penta in the LCK for 1
For a
year.
whole year.